Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our social media, or our website. In the description below, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a watch that's fascinating in that it's lived multiple lives. Known today as the Jacob & Co. Epic X Racing, this watch was born in 2011 as the brainchild of jewelry and watch designer Benjamin Muller, and while he still gets a designer's credit, today the watch is built by Jacob & Co., originally known as the Titanium Manual Hour Minute. It was part of Benjamin Muller's Spider collection. Today, the Epic X is a fascinating, open, and remarkably mechanical take on the modern luxury dress watch at 44 millimeters in grade 5 titanium, thinner than I expected at 13.1 millimeters thick, and a burly 53.8 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw the watch on my wrist, 16 centimeters circumference, and you can see the Epic X Racer knee titanium manual hour minute is a broad and impressive watch. Open, one might even say airy and ethereal. It's quite a presence on the wrist as it looks, well, unlike anything else, even in an era when open dial watches seem to predominate in the sports watch class. It is light on the wrist, being a combination of polymer and titanium with an evacuated strap that is extraordinarily comfortable and supple. I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, but just because of the size of the lugs from lug to lug, I probably wouldn't go any smaller than that if you want to wear it well. The strap is a conforming profile, which means it matches the slope of the lugs, and then also matches the curve of the case. As you can see, it's faceted on its side to articulate the form, and it has a honeycomb perforation on both sides that allows it to vent very well when it's on the wrist. It is also incredibly supple. It has a wonderfully silky feel. The buckle itself is, well, perfectly matched to the watch, combination of satin finish and evacuated media blasted hollows. And the timepiece is remarkably intricate, with a combination of satin finish, polish, and then lugs that are dramatically stepped out. Think Longa, only much, much more so. This is sort of like a robotic Longa, if you will. There are multiple facets to the ends of the lugs, and the lugs are dominant. They have almost a cruciform profile. As you can see, the lug design is continued seamlessly in the Concepto-built movement as the profile of the lugs extends across the dial and connects with the opposite lug. The watch is remarkably open, and I have to say the level of visibility on both sides makes this a bit of a unique experience on the wrist or off. The crown profile, of course, advertising Jacob the jeweler, Jacob & Co., building a huge range of haute de gamme watches, usually working with other designers and movement constructors to do so. Now, the movement is one and the same as the dial. There's really no distinguishing between the two of them. Jacob & Co. calls this the JCAM02, but it's built by movement manufacturer Concepto. It's also finished by them to a very high grade. As you can see, everything is fairly linear and logical. There is a barrel up at the 12 o'clock station. It's an open barrel, so you can actually use the tightness of the coils as a surrogate for a power reserve. Power is then transmitted down to a balance, which is mounted at 6 o'clock. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It is a manual wind with a 48-hour power reserve. Flip it over and you can see one of the most appealing parts of this watch. I'll show you on the dial first. You can see the motion works that governs the action of the hands. And then on the reverse side, you can see the elaborate keyless works as well as springs used by Concepto. Concepto uses these almost Baroque extended and curved springs on most of the high horology movements that it constructs and designs. So whenever you see these springs, it's a good chance that the movement was provided by Concepto. I'm going to do my best to get close here and remove my fingerprints. All of this is water resistant down to 50 meters. There's a nickel anthracite coating on most of the bridges and plates. You can see there's engine turn perlage in several sizes, satination on all the wheels, as well as the ratchet wheel, the click, and the barrel top. You can see that there's a beveling on the edge of every bridge and plate, as well as the springs themselves. And it's principally a mechanical finish, as it appears to have been executed with a milling wheel, but then manually finished to create a mirrored surface. So it's a bit of a hybrid finish that you don't see too often, but the finish is high horology. You'll also note that the interior of the watch is full of graphics. Jacob & Co. You can see Epic X written on the inner flank of the bezel. And of course, the movement is wonderfully airy, three-dimensional, and almost prismatic. It is hauntingly beautiful in a sort of techno-industrial postmodern sense. There's something remarkably lovable about this movement that I don't get, for example, in an open dial Hublot Big Bang. This is an artisanal watch. It is a designer watch. It's the dream of one man, Benjamin Muller, the son of Jean Muller, who founded Bugatti fashion in the 80s. He's not a watchmaker, he's a designer of jewelry and watches, and in this watch, his dream lives on through Jacob & Co. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.